Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Danny, and I'm the event planner for the New York Reactor. Before we begin, please take a moment to review our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Useful links will be shared in the chat. This session is recorded and will be available on demand in 24 to 48 hours on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. Which brings us to today's session. It will run for approximately 1 hour with times for questions throughout. I will now turn it over to our speakers for introductions.
Hi, Ilga. How are you doing?
I'm fine. What about you? Hello, everyone.
I'm fine.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's really nice to have you all here. Thank you for joining us for the third series in our new session, where we are talking about getting certified to take the Power BI Data Analyst role-based certification. And we are going to start with some introductions, and then we will jump into the content. So, Frank, why don't you take us away?
Yes, I can start, but do we see the slides? Or I think the sharing has stopped, probably just. So my name is Frank Geisler. I'm here from Lüdinghausen, a city no one ever has heard of in Germany. And I'm close to the Dutch border, and I'm a long-term Microsoft Data Platform MVP. What about you, Ilga?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Ilgar Zarbalyev. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP and Microsoft Certified Community Lead. And I'm so excited to be here with you all. And so, all right, before we get started, we just wanted to mention that, yes.
Ilga, please share your screen because we cannot see the slides at the moment.
I hope I screen my screen. Do you see?
Yeah, let me see. Not at the moment.
Let me screen once again, share once again.
Yeah, try it, please.
What about, yes, perfect.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. So before we get started, we just wanted to mention that this is live and interactive. We have so many people on the line. Thank you so much for joining. And we want to make sure that you get what you came here for. So please ask any question you have in the chat. And let me introduce you our moderators. We have some experts live on the line, and then we'll also try to address some of your questions if we have time for it. So let's just take a look at who our moderators are. We have two favorite friends here today to work with us. We have Deepti Goguri, and you have already seen her in the chat. And we also have a friend, Lucrecia Kroos, also seen her in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to learn from you with the answers to the questions.
Ilga, one more thing. Can you please switch to presentation mode so we can see full screen? Would be awesome because we see the PowerPoint. If you just go to full screen in
presentation. Do you see now?
mode. Yeah, I see, but I see it in PowerPoint. Could you please switch to full screen? If you go to slideshow and then to presentation at the top. At the top menu, slideshow and then presentation, into presentation mode, because we just see the slides, the slides in the PowerPoint application.
So, do you see now?
I see the PowerPoint, but we don't see full screen.
What about now?
No, it's the same. Shall I quickly share my screen?
Okay, please do it.
Okay, let me just give me 1 second, and then I will just share my screen. Share screen, and I will share the screen. Okay, hopefully we can see it now in full screen mode. Probably. Okay, awesome. So exactly, this is where we left off.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Oops. So this is the moderators. And shall I switch to the next slide? Yes, right?
Yes, you can do it.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
So Frank, what is this?
Yeah, I have no idea. This is not what I was thinking. What we were presenting, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope it's going to be a surprise for us.
Yes.
So one more slide, please.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is exactly, this is the Power BI 10th birthday, and there is a party to find out about this. And if you go to this link or to AKA MS PBI 10, then you will find all the information on this, right?
Yes. So just a little bit more info about this Power BI's 10th birthday party. So we are going to have live. We are going to have contests with prizes in this party, and you are all invited. And some celebrities will help us to make this event and birthday party fun. And also here, I hope we are going to have our discount vouchers. So go ahead and jump over to the site that Frank told, and I hope you will learn more from that link.
Exactly, and the vouchers will give you a 50% discount on the exams PL-300 and DP-600, which is awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
Great.
So let's move on.
Just let me give a little bit info about these discount vouchers. So please go back. So do be aware that the offer for discount expires at the end of August, and supplies are limited. So if you would like to request your voucher today, go ahead and jump over to aka.ms/pbi10/cert15. Yes.
Exactly. And there is even more. There is this data visualization contest, which ends on July the 18th. So you can win prizes and all of this. And if you want to know about this, just go to this link, aka MS PBI 10 Dataviz.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Dataviz contest kicked off yesterday, June 2025. So yes.
Cool. Okay, and one more thing, Ilga. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, exactly. We have a program we want to share with everyone, and I believe that this is the second annual Microsoft Fabric Community Conference coming up in Europe, and it's going to be happen from 15th of September to 18th of September this year in September, and we are offering €200 as early discount right now with the code FabLive, you can see on the screen. And so if you hover over to this URL, you will be able to more information about that. By the way, Frank, I have attended this first Fabric conference that happened in Stockholm, Sweden last year. Yes, it was fantastic. And if you are coming from Power BI Island, and you think that, oh, I don't know, I'm not ready for Fabric, that's a little bit bigger than I'm ready for. Just believe me, there are a lot of intro sessions, and these sessions will help you ready for the conference. So there are a lot of great opportunities.
Very cool. So I would say let's go to the next slide to tell a little bit about what we're doing today. Ilga, please tell us.
Yes, all right. So now back to our regular scheduled programming. This is what we are here for today. And you are in the third session of Get Certified series. So we are here. We are going to be taking you through the 4 group of skills that are covered on the Power BI Data Analyst certification exam. And now you may be here and you are not planning to take the exam. It's also completely fine. And these 4 group of skills cover a lot of Power BI from end to end. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to learn about this tool. Frank, any other thing you want to mention about this series?
Yeah, well, it's good that it is break down to these different modules, right? And the other thing, what's cool about this is as well that you will find this on the YouTube channel afterwards on the Microsoft YouTube channel. And this is a cool thing as well, so you can rewatch them, right? And the other thing is what's cool, if you're live here, you can ask your questions and to our wonderful moderators, and they will try to answer them, which is also very cool. So very cool organization, but I think let's just move on. So yes.
Frank, why don't you kick us off?
Yes, I will. So first of all, we will talk a little bit about the certification itself. So let's get to the next slide. Okay, so what will we cover today? Today we will give you first a little bit of an introduction and an overview over PL-300 and Power BI. Then we will talk about designing Power BI reports, and we will talk about how to enhance your reports for user experience, right? Because this is very important that the user experience is good, because if the user experience is bad, no one will use your reports. And we will also talk a little bit about identifying patterns and trends, and we'll give you some more practical tips for success. Okay, so I think let's just move on. Ilga?
Yeah, all
so
right.
I would, yes.
Frank, so please be so kind as to take us into an overview of these examples.
I will. Okay, so Power BI and Fabric. And what are the certifications for this? So we have 3 certifications in the whole space, which is the PL-300. The PL-300 is a certification which is thought of for a role in your company. If you're, for example, a Power BI data analyst or analyzing data with Power BI, building reports, all this stuff, then the PL-300 certification will be good for you. The other thing is, if you are more looking towards Fabric, right? Then there are 2 certifications, because Fabric is, as you already said, Ilga, Fabric is a very, very large platform. And so there is a DP600. The DP600 is about the Fabric Analytics Engineer. It will tell you all about how to analyze data with Fabric. And the DP700 is about the Fabric Data Engineer, which will tell you about how to ingest data into Fabric. There are multiple ways to do so, and how to prepare data that it can be used by the Fabric Analytical Engineer, Fabric Analytics Engineer. And this is a distinction. And so if you want to have some certification which is based on your job role, then you can pick from this side. But I don't know how you think, Ilga, but I think it's always a good thing to have all of them, right? Because then you know all of the platform. And as most of people know, and this is something we will cover a little bit later as well, is Power BI now is an integral part of the Fabric platform. So thinking about, we are here now.
Actually, I just wanted to add a little bit info to previous slide. So as Frank mentioned, DP700 is directly is related to data engineers. So if your background is coming from data engineering, so it would be better that you should start taking or preparing for DP700. But today we are going to talk about PL-300. So next slide, please.
So yes, so if we are thinking about PL-300, the level is intermediate. So this is not like a beginner certification, like a 900 certification. It is an intermediate level. And what you will gain with this will be the Power BI Data Analyst Associate, which is a really cool certification. And so what this is all about is it's about providing meaningful business value through easy to comprehend data visualizations, right? Because you can more easily spot data and spot things like patterns and stuff like this if you see a visualization, and not if you just see a table, right? And the other thing is you should also be able, if you're done with this, you should also be able to enable others to perform self-service analytics, because this is one of the very strong points of Power BI. And so what you should be able to do if you're using Power BI and if you want to take this exam is, first of all, you should be able to prepare data, right? Then next thing, you should be able to model the data and to do all this fancy stuff in the data modeling of Power BI, like connecting tables through keys and stuff like this. Next thing, and this is why we're here, is you should be also able to visualize and analyze the data. And the last thing you should be able to is to manage and to secure Power BI. Because if we're thinking about reports and if we're thinking about data from companies, then usually the data which is in the reports and in the Power BI dashboards is data which is really which could be confidential data, and you don't want to that everyone could see this. And this is another thing. So thinking about technology, you should be proficient at using Power Query, right? The engine which can bring data into Power BI. And you should also be able to use data analytical expressions, DAX, right? Because this is the language you will write measures in Power BI with and other stuff. Okay, anything to add, Ilga?
Actually not. It's a great summary, so we can go with our next slide.
Okay, so let's move on. So what skills are measured, which is also a very interesting thing. So this is how you should prepare for this. So there is around, if we have a look at all of the questions you asked, right? So there will be something around 25 to 30% about preparing data, 25 to 30% about modeling data, 25 to 30% about visualizing and analyzing data, and the last 15 to 20% is managing and securing Power BI, right? This is a breakdown of the different skills which will be measured in this exam. Okay, so let's move on. And here is a slide for the skills in depth. I don't read the slide because I think most people can read themselves. The only thing is, and this is what is in the box, this is what we will talk about today, is about visualize and analyze data using Power BI, which will be 25 to 30% as seen on the last slide. And we will talk about creating reports, we will talk about enhancing reports for usability and storytelling, and we will talk about identifying patterns and trends. So let's move on, and let's go to the next slide. Power BI overview.
Okay, so thank you very much, Frank. That was such a great overview. And all right, so before we jump into the actual bits and pieces we are going to talk about today for data visualization and analyzing, we just want to level set and make sure that we are all on the same page with our knowledge of Power BI. So I would like to know if folks can drop in the chat how many years have you been working with Power BI, or if this is your first year, maybe you can identify as a newbie or whatever you feel comfortable with. So, but I would like to see just where people say are at. That help us know kind of what pace to go through with this.
Okay. So I will tell a little bit about how Power BI will fit into the overall picture of Fabric, right? So if we have a view at this, I think if you ever have thought about Fabric at all, then this will be a very common slide, because this shows how everything is about. So first of all, in Fabric, you have different workloads like Data Factory, which is for implementing data or ingesting data into the platform. Then you have data engineering. Data engineering is about how to clean the data, how to bring data in a format that you can analyze. Then we have the data warehouse, which is one kind of storage where you can store your data. We have the data science part, where you can use, for example, machine learning models to make sense of your data, to spot patterns, stuff like this. Then we have a part which is very close to my heart, which is real-time analytics. Real-time analytics is about, or as it is called now, it's real-time intelligence. Real-time intelligence is about analyzing streaming data as they stream in, which is very cool. Power BI is a part of this platform. Ilga, you will tell us a little bit about Power BI afterwards. I will just tell about the OneLake. The OneLake is the data foundation of all of this. This is like one copy of all of your data. It's like a managed Azure Data Lake Gen 2, and there is also some data virtualization on the one lake. So you can, for example, you can connect data to the one lake, which is outside of Fabric, like, for example, data which is at an Amazon S3 bucket or something like this. And what's interesting and what's very important about this whole platform is that it is an SaaS product experience. So you have data analytics as software as a service, which is very cool. So you don't have to bother about all this technical stuff. If you're creating items in Fabric, the most important thing you have to do is just put in a name. And on the other hand, it is the security and governance, which is used is the Entra ID security that Microsoft provides. So this is also something which spans over the whole platform. It is only about compute and storage, and the other thing which is unified as well is the business model.
Okay.
But Ilga, can you tell us a little bit about Power BI?
I hope it's okay. This information is enough about Microsoft Fabric. So let's go for ahead.
Yes. Okay.
So just a little bit info about this slide. Let's start with actually. Before we can present the data, we have to make sure that it's manageable, and that's in the shape for us to be able to share the data in a way that people can draw insights from it. So actually, in the flow, we start with working with Power BI Desktop, and in Power BI Desktop, we are getting data from different data sources, and then after transformation or profiling, shaping the data, we made the necessary insights, and then we prepare the necessary reports and share these reports on Power BI service and the mobile. The next slide, please.
So now we will talk a little bit about how to create reports, because this is something which is part of this. So, well, it is very important for the PL-300 that you know how to create reports, and what we will show you now is a little bit about creating of reports. So let's have a look at this slide. So first of all, which is also very important, is to select and format the right visuals. So first of all, you have to choose the right visual to just display the data. And the thing is, if you format the visuals, you should format for clarity. So you should format for title. You should think about titles. You should think about labels. You should think about colors. And what you should not do, and we have some examples here as well, is you should avoid clutter. So in this case, for example, this is a table, right? But it's very difficult to see things in this table, right? Because you are just presented with so many different numbers and so many different things. So let's see how to do this better. So first of all, what we could do probably is we could probably use conditional formatting like this, right? So we were formatting the sales rank. We give something like a little bit of a graph here, so you can see how much this is compared. The numbers are compared to the other numbers. You can see whether the year-to-year sales are going up or going down. You can see how the profit just changes and stuff like this. And this is much easier to read and much easier to understand than if you have the plain table, right? So let's move on. Another thing, what you could do as well is you could use themes and conditional formatting. And this is something you should know about in the certification as well. How to apply consistent themes for branding and readability, right? So there are predefined themes, but what you could do for sure is you can build your own theme, and your own theme could be in your brand of your company, right? So the other thing, what you could do is, and this is something we already saw in the screenshot on the last table, is you can use conditional formatting to highlight key metrics, right? to, for example, set background colors, to set font colors, to use data bars. All of this we already saw in the slide beforehand, right? So this is something you could do as well. Next thing, what you could do is you can keep visual emphasis intentional. So in this case, this, for example, what you can see here is a very clear design. It's not overloaded or it's not too colorful and so on. And this and you have a really decent control panel over here. So this is something which is easy to use for the user, right? And let's have a look at this. So what you could also use, and what is very important, is slicing, filtering, and page configuration, right? Because if you use slicers, as you can see here, then the user can just concentrate on a certain year. For example, they can just click on the fiscal year 2018, fiscal year 2019, stuff like this. And so this is something which can help you. What you have to think about, and this is very important for Power BI, is that there are different scopes for filters, right? So you can either filter on the visual itself, right? You can filter on the whole page, so that the whole page will, and all the visuals which are on this page will be filtered regarding to what you put in the filter pane. And the other thing what you could do as well is you can filter the whole report with all of the pages, right? These are the different filter scopes you can use in Power BI, and it's always good to know when to use what and how these filters interact with each other, right? This is, I think, very important as well. Let's move on to the next slide. One more thing is what you could do is you can configure the page size and the layout for the audience. So what you can see here, for example, you can use the canvas settings for 16:9, 4:3, letter tooltip, and so on, right? So this will define how large your report is. And the other thing is what you can define as well is the layout. So it either if it is broad or if it is long. So for example, it could be that your reports are consumed on a mobile phone or something like this, which is totally possible. Then you should go more for the portrait style and not for landscape, right? This is something you can do to format the page. So another thing, what you could use is visual calculations and paginated reports. So what you can do to for calculations is you can use simple DAX for visual level calculations. These are calculations which are not done in the data model, but these are calculations which are only done for visualizing the data, right? And as said, it is a very good thing if you know about DAX, and it might be that there are some DAX-related questions in the exam as well, right? Another thing are paginated reports, or maybe there are guys who are a little bit older in our chat like me, right? These are the well-known reporting services reports, which are now called paginated reports. And paginated reports are pixel perfect and printable. The thing is, what I always say is there are two kinds of reports. One kind is more analytical reports. These are reports for people who really want to understand the data and want to analyze the data, like doing cross-filtering, stuff like this. This is something which can be done very good within Power BI. And the other thing is what I call are functional reports, like, for example, invoices or packing lists or stuff like this, right? And these are usually reports which are printed or at least are transferred as a PDF file. And these functional reports, these are reports which can be used or which can be created with the paginated reports. And this is the distinction, and this is another thing you have to know about. So you have to know about when to use which report, right? Because on the other hand, paginated reports are not good for analyzing data. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk a little bit about the enhanced reports for usability and storytelling. Please tell us about this.
Okay, actually, when building Power BI reports, it's not just about showing data. It's about telling a story and making it easy for user to explore insights. Let's move on, please.
Yes.
And to enhance usability, we should start by guiding users with a clean layout, consistent color schemes, and intuitive navigation. Also, we can use bookmarks, tooltips, and interactions, buttons, and also drill-through pages. So it will help us to create a smooth app-like experience. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into that in next slides. So let me give a little bit info about bookmarks and tooltips. So first of all, let me start with tooltips. Tooltips and visual headers help users understand what they are looking at without extra explanation. And with sync slicers, you can maintain filters across pages for a seamless analysis journey. So for storytelling, think about the message behind the numbers. And so think about the message behind the numbers. So lead with high-level KPIs, also support them with trends and comparisons, and close with actionable insights. So we can use titles, labels, and conditional formatting to draw attention to what matters most. So let's go with the next slide, please. So now a little bit about bookmarks. So bookmarks, one of the most powerful tools in Power BI for enhancing storytelling and interactivity. Bookmarks capture, the current state of a report page, including page itself, applied filters, slicers, sort order, and drill position. So this means that you can return to a specific view at any time or guide your users through a predefined flow. So you can also use bookmarks for practical tasks like tracking your own progress during report development or creating customer navigation between report view. In the PL-300 exam, you might be asked how to use bookmarks to toggle between views, such as switching between, summary and detailed view, or highlighting a specific insight with a click. So let's move on, please.
Yes.
Next slide, please. And also a little bit about navigation and sorting. So I can say that good navigation helps users move seamlessly between pages and visuals without getting lost. If users can't easily find their ways around, so they will get frustrated, and that's something we definitely want to avoid. In Power BI, buttons and bookmarks are your go-to tools for designing custom navigation, flows. And you can add navigation buttons that jump between report pages and even hide, certain pages so they are only accessible through those buttons. Next slide, please.
Yes, one thing to add, if you look at this report, you can see this is a very beautiful report, which also is very clear to understand, right? And this is one of the main things to achieve in a very good Power BI report. Okay, here's the next slide.
Yes, now a little bit about, design for accessibility. In Power BI and in the PL-300 exam, you'll be expected to know how to make your reports accessible to all users. That includes setting alt text for visuals, defining a logical tab order for keyboard navigation, and ensuring color contrast meets accessibility standards. So these aren't just best practices, they're requirements in many organizations, especially in enterprise or government, environments. Now, let's connect that to mobile, layout. Many users view reports on their phones, so taking a few extra minutes to adjust the mobile view can significantly improve the user experience also. So from a usability standpoint, the selection pane is a powerful tool, and it lets you to control what visuals, are visible or hidden, and it's often just alongside bookmarks and buttons for navigation. You can also manage layer order, which controls which visuals sit on the top or behind others. So useful when working with overlapping shapes, images, and buttons. Next slide, please.
Yes.
So Frank,
yes.
yeah. Why
So
don't you? Yes.
Yeah, let's just speak a little bit about identifying patterns and trends, because this is what the reporting is all about, right? So what you want to understand is how your business changes, if there are maybe some outliers, stuff like this. And yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about this and how to do this in Power BI. So, okay, now let's explore some of the most advanced analytical features in Power BI that help uncover the deeper insights with less manual effort. We'll start with the Analyze feature. This is a built-in AI tool in Power BI that lets you quickly explore why a data point looks the way it does, without writing any text or digging manually. Right-click a point in your visual, and under Analyze, you can see options like explain the increase or find where the distribution is different, stuff like this, which is really helpful. Power BI then automatically generates a visual from these insights, which you can add directly to your report. Just note that this feature won't work if non-numeric or measure file filters are applied. Next, we have grouping and binning, which gives you more control of how data is displayed in visuals. First of all, grouping is great for categorical data. So you can manually select items in a chart, group them, and rename them to simplify comparisons. Binning, on the other hand, is for continuous data like age ranges or sales amounts. You can break large numeric ranges into equally sized bins, helping users to spot patterns more easily. Both grouping and binning lets you reshape your visuals in a way that supports clearer storytelling and better decision making. You can even edit these groups later from the field list or legend pane. And finally, clustering takes it a step further by applying a form on unsupervised machine learning. All right. To use a scatter chart, you can let Power BI automatically identify clusters of similar data points. These clusters represent segments within your data that are internally alike but different from others. Great for customer segmentation, for example, or for behavior analysis. On the cluster, once the clusters are created, you can use them in visuals like any other field, making it easier to highlight patterns and drive focused conversations. All these features, Analyze, grouping, binning, and clustering, allow you to enhance your visuals, uncover hidden trends, and make your reports not just interactive, but insightful and intelligent. These are also fair game for the PL-300 exam. So it's good to know about when and how to use each of them, right? So let's move on to the AI visuals in the forecasting. So there are AI-powered visuals in Power BI that make analysis faster, easier, and more insightful, especially for users who don't have a technical background. We'll start with the Q&A feature. This tool lets users explore data in natural language. So they can simply type a question like, what were total sales last quarter? Something like this. And Power BI returns a visual answer. This is great for self-service BI, allowing users to get answers quickly without needing to know DAX or how to build visuals. As a report author, Q&A can give you ideas for useful visuals and allow you to pin those results directly to your report. Behind the scenes, you can improve the Q&A experience by managing synonyms, correcting common typos, and reviewing the questions user asks by helping Q&A gets smarter over time, right? This is also very cool. And the next thing is, and this is something we will see here on the chart, is the key influencer visual, which is perfect for understanding the why behind your data, right? Because this is what you want to know. You want to know why is your data the way it is. So let's say you're analyzing sales performance. Key influencers will scan your data and show you the fields that most affect the sales, such as client type or location. You simply select the visual from the pane, add your target metric to analyze, and drop explanatory fields into explain by. Power BI does the rest, ranking those factors and showing their impact. And lastly, we have the decomposition trees. And this is another powerful tool for drilling down across multiple dimensions. This visual lets users explore data dynamically by breaking down a measure, like sales or back orders, for example, into categories such as reason, product, or channel. And you can even use AI splits to let Power BI find the highest and the lowest contributing factors automatically. This is perfect for root cause analysis where users want to go beyond the surface. Each of these tools, Q&A, key influencers, and decomposition trees, enables users to go deeper into their data without needing complex formulas. And they are also important for the PL-300 exam, so make sure that you know when and how to use them effectively. In short, these AI visuals help transform data into insights and insights into action. So let's move on. Next thing I would like to talk about is about detecting outliers and anomalies. Often this is the most revealing part of your data. There are unexpected spikes, dips, or odd patterns, and that can point into to hidden opportunities or potential issues. In Power BI, detecting anomalies is straightforward. On a line chart, you can simply enable anomaly detection, and Power BI will automatically flag unusual data points. This is especially useful when monitoring KPIs, identifying data quality issues, or caching early signals like a sudden drop in sales or spike in support tickets or something like this. For the PL-300 exam, you should know about how to enable anomaly detection and also understand tools like error bars and confidence intervals. These are not only show what happened, but also how confident Power BI is in the trend, giving your users better context. But beyond built-in features, it's also important to understand what defines an outlier in your business scenario. For example, say you're analyzing orders in a shipping warehouse and you spot a spike in one product category. You might ask, was it in just one warehouse, or was there a specific promotion, or has this happened before? To dig deeper, you can use visuals like the Cheetah SCART, which is great for spotting outliers across large data sets. Or what you could do as well is you could use DAX to build dynamic measures that calculate when a data point exceeds a defined threshold. You can even segment your data into outliers and non-outliers, then use grouping or conditional formatting to make them stand out visually. This approach ensures your analysis stays live and responsive rather than static. Would you add something related to outliers and anomalies?
Yes. In short, outliers often carry the most valuable insights, and Power BI gives you the tools to spot, investigate, and act on them. Whether it's a sudden drop in revenue or a one-time surge in demand, these regular points often tell the most important stories. So whether you are preparing for the exam or working on a real business case, knowing how to surface outliers and anomalies is a must-have skill for turning raw data into meaningful decision.
Exactly.
So
let's move
next
on.
slide. So beyond the technical skills, success in PL-300 exam comes from understanding the exam format and practicing with real scenarios.
Okay.
So
yeah, let's move to the next slide.
Okay. Let's close with some quick tips for passing the PL-300 exam. First and foremost, success comes from more than just technical knowledge. You need to understand the exam format and be able to apply what you know in real-world scenarios. Make the most of the available resources. For example, use the Microsoft Learn course to build a strong foundation. Go through study guides and sample projects to reinforce what you have learned. Take practice tests on Microsoft Learn to get familiar with the question style and timing. Use the exam sandbox to understand the test environment ahead of time. Just as important as studying is hands-on practice. Build your own Power BI reports, connect to different data sources, and solve business problems using real data sets. This is what that turns theory into confidence. And remember, soft skills also matter. So communicating insights clearly and understanding your stakeholders' needs is a huge part of being an effective data analyst. Finally, focus on understanding the why behind each task, not just the steps. So that mindset will help you not only pass the exam, but excel in the real Power BI projects. Then you will get this. Dear participants or attendees, if you have any tips or lessons learned from your exam experience, we would be glad to hear them. So what's your trip, Frank?
Yeah, so my tip would be, first of all of what you said, right? This is very important to not only know the product by just from Microsoft Learn or something like this. It's very important to have hands-on experience and hands-on practice, for example, by writing text queries, by looking at the M code, stuff like this, and by really understanding the product, right? Because the exam is good to get the certification and to show the certification, but when you're done and when you have the certification, next thing you have to do is you have to work with Power BI, right? And if you do so, the thing is you just have to understand why all the things are and why things work like they do. Another tip that I can give you probably would be, if it is possible for you to do the test in English, please do the certification in English, because the English one is the most original certification. This is the certification how Microsoft developed it. It could be, I had this sometimes in the future, that there are translation mistakes or something like this in the German tests. I did them many years ago, and I switched to English. So it's always a good thing if you can understand English, if you can read English, and if you can work with this. It's always a good thing to do the test in English. This would be a good thing. The other thing, another tip I can give you would be, if you go to the website from Microsoft for the PL-300 exam, there are two more things to do. There is, first of all, there is a sandbox test. The sandbox test will show you the different kinds of questions you could expect, right? Because not all the questions are like multiple choice. There could be, for example, multiple choice questions with multiple answers, where you have to choose all the answers which are right. Then there are other things, like, for example, where you have to drag and drop some code from left to right, stuff like this. So I would if you never did a Microsoft certification exam, I would highly recommend, first of all, do this. And the second one, what you could also do is you could also, there is like a practice exam where you get questions, not the questions from the exam for sure, but questions which are similar, or which can show you how these questions work. And this would be a good thing as well, to go through all of this and to read the result very carefully, because it will tell you in which of these different areas we saw, which are covered by the PL-300 exam, which are where you might have to learn something. And the good thing is, you can, with this practice test, you can reveal the answers. And with all the answers, there is not only an explanation why this answer is the right answer, there is also a link, and the link goes to a Microsoft Learn article where you can read all about this, right? So if you did something wrong, which is not a problem, then please check the answer, please understand why the answer is the right answer, and then go to the link and maybe read the Microsoft Learn article again to understand the whole topic. This would be my tips for the exam.
Great tips, thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome. So let's move to the next slide. So there are some can't miss opportunities, right? So this one is about the 10th birthday of Microsoft Power BI, and we have a bunch of opportunities coming up that are celebrated in Power BI 10th birthday. So at the key of the celebrating, it's about us, the users, right? And so there are some celebrations. There is this birthday party. You can join it in June and July on aks.ms/pbi10, right, for the 10th birthday. Then another thing, as we already said, which is a really, really good offer, is that there is 50% discount for the exam PL-300 and DP-600. And these discounts expires on the 31st of August, and the supplies are limited. So if the supplies are gone, they are gone. So probably what you should do is you should just go there now and get your discount voucher for the exams. Then we already talked about the database contents, which ends July the 18th, and so this is something you can participate. And this is another good tip, Ilga. what you could do is if you participate there and if you build your Power BI report, you are building some experience, right? And this is experience you could use in the exam as well. And last but not least, there was the FabCon Vienna. We already talked about this, and it is from the 15th to the 18th September in 2025. And there is this code FabLive, right? And if you use this code, you can save mind-blowing 200 euros on the fee you have to put in. And to learn all about this is you can go to aka.ms/fc Vienna. Okay, so Ilga, let's move to the next slide.
Yes, our next session is going to happen on July 2nd, and our speakers are going to talk about managing and securing in Power BI. So you are kindly invited to join us. Don't skip this session. So yes, this is what I would like to remind to our users. So next slide, please.
Yes, and the next slide is also the final slide. So there is the aka.ms PL-300 prepare, and this is a website where you find all the information about how to prepare for the PL-300. There are also these practice tests. There is the sandbox on there, and all of this, right? And yes. Are there any questions from the chat that we can discuss? We have still 10 minutes. No questions to discuss?
I hope, our moderators have answered to all questions. Thanks to them once again.
Oh, okay. Well, so they are getting questions for us. Okay. So, yes. But anyhow, so it's always a good thing to do this Microsoft certifications, because first of all, what is very important to know is the certification is bound to your person, right? So if you, for example, change your employee or something like this, you will take your certification with you, which is a good thing. And the other thing is, if you have this certification, what you can do then is you can show, for example, future employees. If you apply for a job or something, you can show them, okay, look, at least I have dealt with the topic a little bit, and what I did as well is I passed the certification, which also shows how to do this. Okay, one of the questions is, how in-depth is the DAX content on the PL-300 exam? Ilga, would you like to answer?
Yeah, the exam duration is 100 minutes. So yeah. Yes, considering that roughly, actually it's subject to changes, but roughly almost the number of questions is about 50. So it means that each question takes roughly 2 minutes. So you have 100 minutes to answer to all questions that can be appeared in the real exam.
Okay. So another question is, how in-depth is the DAX content on the PL-300 exam? So this is something I think, so usually if there are questions about DAX, there are either questions where you have to know, for example, how a certain function or how a certain what a certain DAX expression is, right? There could be some which are wrong and there could be a right one. This is something you should know. And the other thing is, it could be that there is a question where you have to drag over. So there is like a DAX expression with some gaps, and on the other hand is like these refrigerator magnets, right? And then you have to drag over the right things into this. So you should at least be able to write DAX and to understand most common things. And I think one of the most important things to know about this is about filter context. Another question is, what is the best way to handle the case study sections because of time management? Yeah, well, this is a good one. So for everyone who never had taken a Microsoft exam or one of these advanced exams, so the exam is split into different parts. There is one part which is a very large part with questions. So these are the more general questions where you have to, for example, do multiple choice, stuff like this. And then there is the special part, usually something around 5 to 10 questions, which is on a certain case study. So and the thing is, you cannot change between these parts. So you have to do one part, and then after this part is finished, you can do the other part. With the case studies, there is many information given, and one of the big things is what you should do here is, as you would do in a real environment, what you should do here is you should extract the most important information from all of this information which is in there, right? And well, the thing is, even if you get the question part first, right, you have to remember that there might be a part with the use study, because you cannot. It is always different if the use case or the case study, if this is up front or if it is in the back of the certification. So yeah.
If you don't mind, I would like to add something to this, case study. I'm a person who has successfully passed, taken 19 Microsoft exams. And based on my experience, I can tell you that maximum there are 2 case study questions in real exam. So, and each case study covers from 6 to 8 questions. So it means that, so what I would offer to exam takers to read them all the text carefully, and you can just spend your 4 or 5 minutes for reading, and then there are 6 to 8 questions. So it means that as soon as you get familiar with the text, with the case, you will have the necessary info and you will be able to answer all the questions smoothly. So it means that between, in 8 or 9 minutes, you will be able to answer to one case study question. So 8 minutes is okay.
Okay. So, and another question,
please go on with answers.
Another question is, as a seasoned hands-on practice user, what's the best way to approach the theoretical knowledge needed to pass the exam? Yeah, well, I think the most thing what you could do is just learn. So it's the same if you are studying like for an exam at a school or university or stuff like this. You have to learn the theoretical knowledge, and the very best thing what you can do, because this is something you will benefit from in all of your career, is not only to learn it, right? Because you will forget it 2 weeks later anyway. So the best thing what you can do is you can understand it, right? If you understand why things are the way they are, if you understand how things are done, then this is something you will not only benefit from in the exam, this is also something you will benefit from in your career, because you know how things are done in Power BI, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Any more questions?
So, I think one guy is asking about the date of next, next session. Our next session is going to happen on July 9, actually July 2nd. It's going to be about managing and securing Power BI. But on July 9, the session will be about exam preparation and Q&A. Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
exactly. Right. Here it is again. Okay, so we are running out of time now, Ilga. Was nice to present with you. And I think what we should do as well is we should thank our moderators, which managed this very big load of questions, which were just fired at them. So a very big thanks and kudos to our two moderators for all the activities they did in the chat.
Okay, in my turn also, I would like to thank to everybody. Thank you all for so much for being with us. We super appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, and we hope you found this helpful. So thank you very much. See you in next upcoming sessions.
Yes, exactly. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.